Hello, my name is Shemishi Robert, and this is my coursework submission for the client-server architecture module. For this project, I developed a bookshop application using Java API for RESTful web services. Before diving into the demonstration video, I'd like to walk you through how I structured my project. First, I have a package dedicated to the data models. These represent each entity required in the application, like your customer, author, books, and so on. Then there's the resource class package. Unlike typical designs where the business logic is typically handled in a separate service class and CRUD operations are done in DAO classes, my resource classes handle the business logic, input validation, and CRUD operations all in one place. In addition to these, I've included packages that handle custom exceptions and their relevant exception mappers to ensure error handling. With that explained, let's now move on to the demonstration video. So I've run my application and opened up Postman to begin testing the endpoints. As you can see over here, I've organized the HTTP requests by entity to keep everything neat and easy to navigate. Let's first start with the author entity. I'll create an author by sending the required parameters in a post request. And as you can see, I get a successful response. And if I try sending in a post request without one of the parameters, I'm met with a not found response. Let me go ahead and create another author as well. Next, I'll retrieve a list of all authors using a GET request. I can also retrieve a specific author and their details by providing their ID. However, if I enter an invalid ID like 6, I get an author not found exception, which is a 404 error. To update an author's information, I use a put request. After sending the updated data and retrieving the same author, it will reflect the changes that were made. If I go back to get author by ID and enter in the correct author, I can see the changes made over here. The get books written by an author and delete author endpoints will be demonstrated towards the end of this video. Now let's move on to the book entity. Now I'm going to create a book using a post request with the required parameters. And if I try to send the same request without, let's say, the author ID, I get a bad request error where author ID is required, exception is shown. Next, I'll try creating another book. With an invalid author ID. And yet again, I'm unable to create the book due to author not found exception. Let me go ahead and correct that. And I'm successfully able to create the book. If I get to my GET request, I can retrieve the list of the books that I've made so far. And I can also get a specific book that I want by its ID. And just like how I did it in authors, I can alter a specific book using the put request, which will modify the existing book rather than creating a new one. I am gonna change the price And if I go and list out all of the books, I'll see the change in price right over here. I will demonstrate the deletion of books towards the end of the video. For now, let's move on to creating a customer. So I'm gonna sending the post request with all the required fields, and it should create the customer no problem. And let me take out one of the fields and sending the same post request with a different name. And it should throw in a not found error. Now let me put in all of the parameters and create a different customer. And it should create the customer no problem. And using a GET request, I can retrieve the full list of customers currently stored within the application. And by passing a specific ID, I can retrieve the details of a particular customer. And same as last time, using a put request, if I wanted to change the details of a customer, I should be able to see the change when I get a list of all of the customers over here. Now moving on to adding items into a cart. To begin this demonstration, I'll start by using an invalid customer ID. I get a customer not found error. Next up, I'll change the customer ID to a valid one. And this time, if I attempt to send the request with no request body, the system responds with an invalid input exception. Similarly, using an invalid book ID returns a book not found exceptions. Once I enter all the correct details, including a valid customer ID, book ID, and all of the required parameters, I receive a successful response. I'll go ahead and add another book to the cart as well. To view the cart, I send a GET request, which returns a map of books along with the quantity of each item added. If I wanted to change the quantity of a specific book, I can do that using a put request. Each time the quantity is adjusted, the stock of that system is updated accordingly. I've received a success response confirming the change. I'm going to go back to check the available quantity of that book so that I can see that it's decreased. And over here in this list, I can see that the stock quantity has decreased from 100 accordingly. I can also remove a book from the cart using a delete request. After doing so, if I retrieve the contents of the cart again, I now only see the remaining item. Now let's move on to the order section. Unlike my other post requests, creating an order doesn't require a request body. When the order is created, it automatically clears the customer's cart and calculates the total price of the order. Now if I go back and check the customer's cart, it's now empty, confirming that the items have successfully been moved into the order. I can then retrieve the list of orders made by that customer using a GET request. So far, the customer has made only one request, so it's only showing one of the orders. Additionally, I can get the order by its ID as well. I've entered the order ID over here in the request. And I can fetch the full details of the particular order. Now let me go back and revisit a GET request from the authors section that I missed earlier. When I enter an author ID, I'm able to retrieve all the books that particular author has written. Using a delete request, I can also remove an author from the system. What's important here is that once the author is deleted, all the books associated with them are automatically removed as well. Let me go get all books. And the author and the book related to the author has also been deleted. Additionally, if I want to delete a customer, all I have to do is enter the customer ID in the request URL. And if I were to get all customers, I would see that the customer has successfully been deleted. That brings us to the end of the demonstration. I walked you through the structure of my project, how each entity functions through RESTful API calls, and how the application handles both valid and invalid operations and exceptions. I hope this has given you a clear understanding of how the system works. Thank you for watching.